His name is my name too.
Hey, Dan, real quick. Who's the black private dick that's a sex machine to all the chicks?
Oh shit, that's Shaft.
You are right. Who's the man who would risk his neck for his brother man?
Oh, dude, wait a minute, that's Shaft. I know that. I know him. Holy
Can
shit.
you dig it?
Damn right.
Who's the cat that won't cop out when there's danger all about?
It's Shaft, isn't it?
Right on. They say this cat Shaft is a bad mother,
Shut your mouth.
but I'm talking about Shaft.
Oh, then I can dig it.
He's a complicated man, but no one understands him but his woman.
That's John Shaft.
Amen. That's John Shaft, man.
Yeah, and he
That's
went to Africa?
He went to Africa. Who's going to Africa?
The brother man was in the motherland?
The brother man in the motherland.
Insane.
It's
Wild.
insane. Yeah, it's crazy. It really is. But here's the deal about the brother man in the motherland. I want to give two clarifications real quick. Number one, we are not the people to be talking about this.
Oh, sure.
We said that last week. It's still true this week. We're not overly qualified to talk about John Shaft. We are, because he's amazing.
But also, aren't we? You know, I mean, we shouldn't be, because this character should not have been created by a white man in a blaxploitation way. And it's true, nah.
And it wasn't, because the first Shaft movie was directed by a black man.
Well, but the book and character was created by
and the movie we watched today was directed by a white man.
And calling it a blaxploitation way is wrong, because the idea of the blaxploitation movement, I guess, was to make these films that are sort of exploiting black people, but having them actually be made by black people and having them be the stars instead of
I think the term blaxploitation comes from, and I could be horribly wrong here and forgive my ignorance. I think the term blaxploitation comes from people of black descent making movies about black people to make money from black people who are watching them.
See, I mean, I think it was that, but I think it was also because that was already a thing. Like, people were for sure in Hollywood were already making movies about black people, marketing them to black people to make money off of black people.
Absolutely.
So black people were like, "This why aren't we doing? Why is this
a white people?
It's our culture. Why are we not the ones getting money from it?" And that was sort of the idea.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know how exploitation-y the John Shaft book series are. I've never read any of them.
I would imagine
I don't even know how to read.
Probably,
but I don't know how to read. I'm like Roger Corman. He never learned how to read. Rest in peace.
I more mean the Shaft franchise as a whole is kind of like a landmark series for black people.
Well, yeah.
It helped them really be taken seriously in film. It was the first black movie it was the first cop movie with a black cop as the main character.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of cultural
This one was the first known movie to ever say clitoris,
which is wild.
It broke a lot of ground. The Shaft series.
Of ground.
It was a groundbreaking franchise, really.
And with that, go ahead and send this movie to your best black friend.
Yeah.
Whether you are white, whether you're black, whatever it is, send this movie to your best black friend.
Right.
Could just be your best friend. They don't have to. Just send it to your best friend.
Yeah.
Send this to someone who likes Shaft.
Send this to someone named Richard.
Oh,
send this to a male model, or a John, but a male model, because apparently that's what Richard Roundtree was before playing Shaft. Dalton taught me that. I don't know if that was true, but he said it, and I'm taking it as fact. I'm assuming my good friend and co-host would never lie to me.
Never have.
All right. Richard Roundtree's bare model ass was in this film.
Right. Send this
he hangs dong. Send this to someone. Send this to a man whose ass you've seen.
Oh, that's a good one. Send this to someone who
Send this to a
all right,
complicated man who's only understood by his woman.
send this to someone you know who has a garden.
Okay.
Like has a garden in their backyard. They grow their own vegetables. It could be herbs, it could be actual vegetables, whatever it is. Send this to
Secret
someone
blend
you
of
know who has
herbs
a
and
garden.
spices, maybe.
Right? Send this to KFC.
Maybe
Send
the
this to the
Colonel. Maybe you're
Colonel.
friends with the Colonel. I don't know.
I mean, you're probably not, but you could be.
Yeah, send
What
it
do
to
I
him.
know?
Maybe you're friends with a Colonel who happens to grow a secret blend
Mm,
of herbs and spices in his back garden, but it's
yes.
completely and also he is from Kentucky and is a fan of fried chicken, but
And
it's
he's
unrelated to the
got
franchise.
a real cool set of facial hair.
Right, and a frequent wearer of all white suits,
Right.
but it's completely unrelated to the iconic
Right.
Kentucky Fried Chicken mascot Colonel.
Yeah, and also
Send it to him.
of course, send it to your mother.
Right.
We miss her.
Yeah.
We got a Patreon. Pay $1. You can hear
Sure
us holler.
do.
It's in the
Sure do.
description wherever you're
Sure
listening.
is.
Show notes if you're listening on Apple Podcast. Everywhere else, it's called a description.
It's on a shirt that you can buy on
Right.
bonfire.com/semi-pro film show on a
I
couple
need
actually.
the link to that so I can put it in the link tree. By the way.
Yeah. So I guess it's actually or no, yeah, the Patreon's in the link tree, which is what
Right.
the QR code is, which is on the shirt.
Right.
But yeah, I'll get that. Hold up, I'll send that to you right now as we're recording, actually.
Right. So
But yeah, so
while
go ahead
Daniel's
and
sending that to me,
kick
we're gonna
Shaft
we're gonna
in half.
begin. I'm not gonna start breaking down the plot of Shaft because that's Daniel's job tonight. But I do
No,
just want to
right.
talk for a second about how we got here. We watched the first Shaft movie, but not the second one, and it doesn't seem like they overlap. But something important happened between these two that I don't know for a fact, but I can tell because I watched it. It became very clear between these two movies that Shaft began being compared to James Bond.
Right.
I made that comparison in the first movie, and it's a pretty obvious comparison. Like he's Black
For
James Bond
sure.
and he's
Yeah.
American. But by the time we get to the third one, and I don't know anything about the second one because I've never seen it. By the time we get to the third one, it becomes painfully obvious. Like this is as close to a Bond knockoff as a Shaft movie could be.
Right.
And this is the
I
last
mean,
theatrical
even
Shaft
down,
movie.
yeah, and even down to the plot is a Bond type plot. The villain feels like a Bond villain. It's
The girls feel like Bond, or the main girl at
right,
least feels like there's
for
literally
sure.
a
Yeah,
Bond girl in here, and there's not a better
yeah,
way to describe her.
it's
Like
true.
they've turned Shaft into James Bond, which I don't have a problem with as a big James Bond fan. So I'm cool with
Right,
that. But it definitely, and it even follows kind of the James Bond story structure where it's like it's really interesting at the beginning, and then the middle is just doing all the things that the beginning explained that it was going to do, and then it gets really
right.
really interesting again in the third act.
Yeah,
um but that being said, I'm a huge fan of this, and I'm a huge fan of this character. I'm excited to see where the franchise goes for the reboot slash sequel. This is the last of the original run of Shaft films. They brought it back for a TV show.
yeah. They did
um
couple little 90-minute TV kind of movies. Maybe
yeah, they were,
not quite 90 minutes, but they were like
I think they were
like
probably
more
around
like
90 minutes.
yeah,
They're
they were
released
more like
as
TV
movies,
movies. Yeah.
and I've never seen them, but there's something I would be
Right.
moderately
No,
interested
I
in
didn't
just
even
because
know
I'm
they
fascinated with the
existed
character.
until last week or week before when we were watching First Shaft.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's interesting for sure. But Daniel,
no,
would you
it's no
like
Shaft.
to go ahead and let us know what happens in Shafrica, aka Shaft
I
in Africa?
I suppose I would.
You
Just
suppose.
as soon as I can remember what
Right,
happens.
right. Well, I
I mean, I
do know
remember
that the
what
brother man
happens, but
goes to the motherland.
right, yeah. That woman is slut, but not
Yeah, but
in
it's said much nicer.
it's yeah, I don't remember the nice way that it's said, but it's said very
I
much
wish
as a
I could
compliment.
experience life like you do
Right.
with sexual feeling, I think is how it's
It was
said.
yeah, I wish I could experience everything in life as sexual feelings like you. Yeah, it
Right.
was yeah.
And he was complimenting her. We'll get there.
We'll get there,
That's the
maybe.
end. That's where the movie gets interesting again.
Right. Yeah, that's the turnaround. So this movie opens a man
Very cold too. Like it's a very
yeah,
cold,
quite
cold open.
cold. Quite cold man running. Looks like he's been through some shit. You know, he's got some bruises. I don't think he was chained at this point, but he gets chained up later. But he's running through this hallway, and then it's the outside of a castle, and he's getting chased by these guards. And they catch him. You know, he's faster than them, but then there's more of them, so they catch him and they throw him in somewhere, some alleyway, somewhere. He's stuck there, and they say that he's the son of the emir, and I don't know what that is, but I guess it's like
I don't think anyone knows.
Nah, it's presented as some sort of, you know, high level of African royalty. Maybe that's what
you
it
made
is.
the connection. It's like a duke meets,
yeah, like a duke or a count or some sort of whatever. It doesn't matter. It's someone in a high level of authority who's got the money to get John Shaft on the case.
Right.
Is what's important. And so his son is killed because they know it's his son, and they want to send a message because people think that their slave trading operation is weak, so they kill this guy, throw his body in the ditch.
Right.
And then
he scratches the wall with his handcuffs. That'll
he
come
does.
back.
Yeah, we comes
think
back.
he's trying to break them because that's what makes sense.
Yeah, but no, he's scratching a little something that we'll get to.
Love letter.
And sort of. And he then we get to John Shaft, and he's running through the park, and he sees some local toughs, some local hoodlums. They're messing with his Shaft mobile. So he
and it's this tiny after. Little orange car.
Yeah, a lot of small car. Not the smallest car, because there are smaller cars throughout the movie, but
right. But it for New York in the 70s, it's a very very small vehicle, which I'm rocking with. I mean, that's cool. Good for the environment. Right? I drive a mid-sized truck instead of a full-size truck. You know,
sure.
You know, I do that for the environment.
Right. Yeah, that's why. So he chases off these these toughs, and he gets in his car, and he drives wherever, to his office, maybe his house,
something like that. His apartment, or his
wherever he gets ambushed later. He's driving there, and it's a cool little Shaft song playing, not the Isaac Hayes one that we quoted at the beginning of this episode.
Not the good one. It's the slightly less good
one.
Well,
it is cracked. It's whatever. It was the Four Tops.
I don't need another hero. But that was
it's not
that was a song
that.
from Fury or Beyond Thunderdome.
Right. No, I Need a Man, maybe?
Are You That Man?
Are You the Man? Something. It was something with man. It was by the
Not
Four
as
Tops.
Memorable as Shaft.
Right. You know, it's no Isaac Hayes, right. You know? But that's fine. They couldn't get Isaac Hayes back. He was too big into Scientology. Whatever. Who cares?
I forgot. Every time I forget he's a Scientologist.
Yeah, well, he was. He's dead now. Or he's
well, he's with Xenorph.
Dust. He's Dust, I think. He's in the pod getting ready to go into the volcano, I think.
I don't know.
So Shaft is he's driving in his car.
The
Song's playing. The Shaftmobile. He gets to, I guess, it was like his apartment, because there's like the doorman.
Right.
And the doorman is like, sure. The doorman says, like, oh, there was some African cat here to see you. He's like, oh, I don't know any Africans. And he opens the elevator, and there's a big African Keith Stanfield is standing there, and he gets in with him, and then just he does some little hustle. What's up?
Keith Sutherland, maybe?
Kiefer, maybe is his name.
That's what I said.
It's like yogurt, but weird. What is kefir? It's like yogurt milk or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Beyond me, Nick. Yes.
It's like some.
That's why I said Keith.
Right. Donald Sutherland.
Right. Donald Glover. His friend, Keith Stanfield.
This is so bad. So he gets in the elevator, tricks the guy. He stays on the elevator, and then he runs off, ditches the guy there, and just while goes up to his apartment.
That was a funny scene where
It was very good.
why you would
I'm
still
not
go.
doing it justice in describing it, but it was
He literally
funny.
like he pushes the guy out and then like fakes like he's gonna run away, and the guy follows him and he
Right.
jumps back in the
Yeah,
elevator and then starts it to go back to his apartment. But
it's
what's
cracked.
funny is like, why would you still go to your apartment? Just go somewhere else. You know they're after you. You know they're chasing you.
But yeah, and then obviously this big Keith Stanfield just fucking pummels his door down.
Right, he
And
does.
then
He tackles this man's door.
yeah, and Chef shoots him, which
Mm.
I thought this guy was super cracked with his bow staff stick thing, and just hold on, you do the plot.
Yeah, so he starts blocking the bullets, what appears to be with his bow staff, but it turns out he was wearing a bulletproof vest. We find that out later. So Shaft tries to shoot him like 2 or 3 times. It doesn't work, and as it doesn't work, he winds up like running away. He Shaft gets kidnapped. He gets beaten up. They tie him up, whatever, and he gets thrown into the back of these guys' car. It turns out they're taking him somewhere and just shaft napping him.
Right, and then they strip him bucket naked.
Yes, that's right.
Throw him in a barn with a couple horses or donkeys or something,
I think it's horses, but yeah.
and then
And
he's in
then
there for a bit, and then
he
they
wakes
throw him in
up
like a
and they talk to him for a second, and he's
yeah.
like, I'm Shaft, let me go. And they're like, nah, you're gonna come with me or I'm gonna
Like,
shoot
no,
you.
we need something from you. We know who you are. That's why we got you. That's why we
Right.
stripped you naked. And
And
then
we're gonna throw
they
you
put
in
him
this
in this
sandy room with lots of
in
light
this
bulbs.
yeah, it's this desert simulator room that's just a bunch of light bulbs and then just a floor of sand, which they say it's 110 degrees in that room because of all those light bulbs that are ringing. So he pulls a dune. He Harkonnens
Which
under the sand, which is
he
cracked.
are Harkonnens all over my sand.
Right.
And to like
She
Dune.
Harkonnen on my worm till I do.
But no, I thought at this point, I don't know, the light bulb thing. I guess I'm so used to like LED light bulbs that don't get so hot, but they were just
Right.
normal light bulbs. How are they going to heat this room to 110 degrees?
I mean, there were a lot of them. They were pretty big.
There were a lot of them, and they
Didn't you
were
hear them
big.
ringing? They were
Yeah, I
ringing.
did, which I thought was part of the score until you pointed
It
out to
did
me that it
seem like
was
it was going to be. It
the hot
was part of
dogs,
the
the
score, but
lamps, the light
was that
bulbs.
what they were?
But yeah, so they do a desert simulator, and he buries himself, and then they cut it off, and they're like, "I like your style, John Shaft. Come and see me in my office." Which is such a Bond thing to do. I can't
Yeah.
stress enough. I know you haven't binged Bond like I have. I've seen
Right. I'm
every
not on
James
that
Bond movie.
Bondism like you.
You've got Shaft, I've got Bond. Like I've seen every Bond movie, and that is such a James Bond thing to do, to do something different than what the people
Right.
kidnapping you want to do, only for them to hire you to defeat the bad guy. It's perfect to James Bond. And it
Yeah.
works.
He's cracked. He's
They take him
awesome.
into his office.
Yeah, and this is one of the big exposition dumps. He says, my son went to infiltrate this
The sun
you know the,
filtrate.
no, I don't think so. But so basically their plan was he originally put his son to like into this tribe. I don't remember what it was the Manta maybe.
The
um
mongrels.
I certainly hope not. But whatever this tribe was, it was something with an M for sure. Manta rays maybe.
Oh,
um
possibly. That seems like a legit possibility for
yeah.
sure.
So yeah, the son had infiltrated the manta rays and then been captured by the people that capture them and sell them to James Bond villain and his slutty lady that rides around in a car with him.
And this
and
is not
and
the
also
same
she's really into
lady.
black dudes.
Yeah.
What's that? Not the same lady as one.
There's two ladies. He's got two ladies,
There's a couple
and they
ladies.
look
Yeah,
identical. No, the villain
they
man
don't.
has two women. Because there's the
No,
one, no, there's the one who's with him
villain.
earlier in the car with the cigar, and then
That
there's the
was
one
some
who's
chick.
no,
I
because while he's talking to the guy, he's like, "No, don't let this other woman don't let anything happen to her. She's the only woman who can arouse me, or whatever."
Oh yeah, wait. Why
So
am I
there's
getting
two
slow
women.
internet
I think the woman on
I
the
guess, yeah, I
boat
guess I
was
just really
first
can't tell
woman.
these white ladies apart, man.
Right.
Shit.
I think the woman on the boat was original woman.
No, woman on the boat was definitely.
You'd think.
It was no, it was for sure lady that was super into black dudes for
Maybe.
sure. Because that's when I actually started. I don't know, paying attention to that woman as a character, I guess, because it was a bizarre scene. But
But but
that was for
then
sure the same
but
woman that
then the
comes back.
mob boss, the
They
Bond
pork and
villain
then
is really, really, really
I think
upset.
they were the same woman. I don't know what that.
Then why would he talk to her like she's not
I don't
there?
know. I don't know. Was he talking about?
I mean, it had to be her, bruh.
But well, moving on.
We'll get
I
there.
don't know where we are in the plot because that threw me. Oh yeah,
Um,
the son. He's just explaining Shaft why he
right,
hired him.
right,
His son had gotten killed trying to infiltrate him, so now Shaft is sent with the Maasai boys.
right. Trying to
Whatever their fucking
goon.
their
He was
tribe
trying to
was.
goon.
Right, I guess. So this is then
No, he was trying to
they
mog.
get.
I'm sorry. That's an improper use of my Gen Z looks maxing term.
Yeah, come on, get it together, man.
He was trying to
You're never gonna
mog.
you're never gonna be able to riz up the skibbity gat like that. Come on, you make me sick. You
So
disgust.
Shaft starts.
Don't ever show.
So Shaft starts mogging.
He doesn't, but he does get two
Skibbity.
of the most of the most like bare minimum James Bond devices.
Oh
one
yeah, and one of
one
them
is
was a.
one is the stick that he gets. That's just it's a camera hidden in the top of it.
And they almost like had to make an excuse for him to use it.
Yeah.
Like it
Because
was like
oh yeah, it was to take a picture of that dude's ID. That was the
right,
only time
and it
after he
never
killed him.
comes up.
No. And I don't think the tape recorder ever served any purpose
No.
because he also got a tape recorder that was hidden
Unless
in
it
a
was during the
satchel.
large chunk of this movie in which we
It could have
weren't paying
there was a
attention.
good chunk that we were just talking about Atlanta,
Right.
so it could have happened,
The
but
television series, not the city.
right, yeah.
Um But yeah, he gets his Bond devices and he gets a cloak. The staff is cool because Shaft carries a staff for the movie.
Right, yeah. And
That's
he
cool.
gets a cool little cloak.
He finds a
He
dog soon.
Right. Well, first he meets one of the main women of the film. His main woman, I guess.
The Bond girl. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's the daughter of the Amir, the sister of the young man who was killed by the slave traders. And she uh is gonna get her clit cut off. It's apparently considered a female circumcision in this
Mhm.
this
This
specific thing
culture.
they outline. I guess I don't know if this is based on any sort of real African tribal culture or not. I don't know. I'm not
If
going to
this movie
presume either way.
if
It
this movie is in
doesn't
any
really
way
matter.
based off real African tribal culture, I'm sorry
Right.
for what we might say.
Yeah. I mean, either way, I'm gonna say it either way. You
I'm no,
know,
no, no,
at
no.
the
I'm
end
not
of the
saying we're not
day,
going to say it. That's why I'm apologizing ahead of
right?
time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really sorry for that one. That one's pretty weird.
I
I don't
mean, it is
know.
weird, yes.
Like, I mean,
Lots
you
of
do
things are
you
weird,
for
you know?
sure, but I don't know that I'm gonna feel sorry for calling something that's weird. Like, I don't,
Mm,
you know.
good for you, man.
Shit. But yeah, so she talks about this. Shaft doesn't want to say the word clitoris. That's funny. This is
That
the
is
first
funny.
time clitoris is ever said in a movie.
Which
I'm gonna keep
Josh
saying
pointed out to
clitoris.
us.
Yeah, Josh was, I guess, just looking up trivia for this movie before. Yeah, when he was off the sleeping pills.
And he pointed out that fact to us, and I never
Yeah,
could
well,
have
the
guessed the context.
first known use
Right.
at least. Yeah, no, I
Which,
certainly would not have guessed that would have been the context. But it's
yeah,
great, and it comes back
it most certainly
shockingly
does.
in a fantastical way.
And pretty quickly.
It
It doesn't
legendary
take long
way.
to come back either.
Yeah, pretty much instantly.
Right. It's the next
Yeah, so
scene. It's
he
back.
basically, yeah, he's on a bus. Weird dude who looks like he got a TikTok filter for a head.
And he looks like No
Is
Country for
following
Old
him.
Men.
Also looks like No Country for Old Men and any Sopranos side character that would have gotten killed off by the end of the season they were introduced in. Like Steve Buscemi that one season he was on Sopranos.
Right.
But
And the
they
TikTok filter that
and
blew
and also has a
heads.
TikTok filter and TikTok Skibbity Riz party. So he tries to mog Shaft, but Shaft he mews in his face, and he can't handle the edge maxing, and Shaft outgoons him.
Shaft
So
definitely outgoons him for sure.
yeah, so this guy attacks Shaft with a knife, and Shaft cold chokes him out and kills him in like 2 seconds flat.
Yeah, no cap.
Like it's instant. It's like I didn't think he was dead, other than the fact that it showed him bleeding, and he clearly seemed like he's gonna be dead. But yeah, he kills him. Then he gets off the bus, leaves dead dude there, finds a dog. Dog gets John Wicked later. Sad.
Yeah, don't go there yet. We
Yeah,
don't be
we'll get
sad till
there.
we need to be.
I'm just saying, John Wick stole its entire plot line from a better series of movies, from one small part of a better series of movies. That's all I'm saying.
You could
You
say
know,
John Wick snatched from a better series of movies. That's another Gen Z slang.
yeah, no, I could definitely say that for sure. I won't,
Right.
but I mean, I could,
Right.
yeah, for sure.
It's awfully sus.
So yeah, John Wick snatched that from a better series. Whoa!
Oh,
Did you
Dan,
just hear a weird ringing?
that was me.
Oh, good, cool. I thought I was going insane.
Oh, Dan, continue.
Yeah,
Your plot breakdown is bussin'.
So this is at some point after he killed the guy, he took his ID and took a picture of it. That was the one thing that he used the thing for. He referenced that. He's trekking through with the dog. Then Amir's daughter finds him. She has a name. I don't remember what it is, but she has one probably.
The dog?
But no, the daughter, the Bond girl.
Oh, right.
Yeah. No, dog was a boy. All dogs are boys. All cats are girls. Everyone knows that.
Right. Why?
But yeah, so they.
Wait. Why?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I mean, my dog's a boy.
Yeah, you have a dog, right? I have a cat. My cat's a girl. Your dog's a boy.
Yeah, but I've had a dog that was a girl.
Sure, and I currently have 2 dogs who are girls, and I had a cat that was a boy, and he's dead. But that doesn't change the fact that all cats are girls and all dogs are boys. You know what I'm saying?
So I was Shaft.
So Shaft he makes sweet loving on the Amir's daughter,
right? Because she has a cat.
So he
not
makes,
to be confused with a cat,
right, which John Shaft has,
right?
a couple of.
Right.
A couple different little European weapons throughout this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so he makes love on her so good that she no longer wants to have her clitoris removed
Right.
as per her tribal tradition.
Also, per
Uh,
her own words, like that's not
right.
Shaft doesn't say that. She says
Yeah.
it. So she goes, Shaft, I need to tell you something, and it has to do with you. It's a major life decision. And he's like, baby, my daddy always told me never to make a
Yeah,
life
it's a
decision
ball.
after making love. And she goes, actually, I don't want to do the thing that my culture has been doing for generations. Because your lovemaking was so good, I would like to experience it for the rest of my life. And then she died.
Yeah. No, she
I
lives.
know, I know, I
It's
know.
the other one that
I like to think they lived on happily forever.
right.
I like to
Maybe.
think this was Shaft's settle down moment.
Maybe this is the mother of Sam Jackson.
Maybe, probably not.
Very unlikely,
Considering
but
at this point he's
could
already
be.
26.
Well, sure. By that logic, John Shaft had him at 6 years old.
Which by Dolomite logic would make sense because
Sure.
Dolomite was born at 6 years old. We'll get
Yes,
there though.
Petey Wheatstraw.
Maybe it is Petey Wheatstraw, or maybe it's both.
Same guy, it's always Rudy Ray Moore.
Right, right,
So,
right. Back to the plot.
um, yeah, this movie has one for sure. Yeah, he something goes back to the tribe, fights some guy. His dog gets killed. This was, I think, when we started talking about
This
Atlanta, and
was
I
it. We zoned out for the
we
middle of.
tuned out for like 30 minutes here, but
I mean, it
I'm
was a
pretty
bit of a
sure not.
drag, to
It's
be
yeah,
fair.
it's basically just stuff happens to get him back with the tribe and daughter girl back wherever. Maybe Keith Stanfield, her bodyguard, came back for her.
Keith
Maybe
Stanfield
not.
became Dolomite's bodyguard.
Right? That was also Petey Wheatstraw, but same dude
I'm
again.
by Dolomite. I meant, I'm, I meant John Shaft.
Oh, okay, not same dude.
No.
But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this part of the movie drags a lot, and it's not a
But
detriment to
not,
the
but yeah,
movie.
yeah. But so Shaft and Lady split up because he has to go back undercover into the tribe
To kill a man for
to
killing a
continue
dog,
infiltrating and taking down this international slave trade
right?
operation.
That's what it's all about.
It really is. Uh, so at some point they link up with whoever the people are, like the middlemen that are selling this tribe of people into slavery to the rich Europeans who will then sell them to other
It's
rich
Paris,
Europeans.
right?
It's there were I remember them saying Dusseldorf a bunch at the beginning, which I don't know where it is. Maybe it's somewhere in France. Maybe it's a section of Paris. I don't know what the fucking Dusseldorf is.
Could be a made up
Seems like a
town
city.
too.
I don't think so. I think it's probably real, but
Dusseldorf is in Germany,
okay. So the various places in Europe they're
right?
sending these slaves to rich European, lords and ladies and dukes and duchesses that, want slaves, I guess. But
Wow,
but
interesting.
Paris is where the movie ends and where
So apparently,
son character was killed.
up through the end of World War II, Germany had slaves,
Oh,
and even afterwards, like this is legit
right.
cultural
This is
history. They were
yeah.
still being shipped into Germany as part of the slave
Mm,
trade, paid very minimal wages because Germany had a really low like minimum wage.
right,
But
right,
because they were shipped there, they couldn't. They'd be deported and arrested and
right. Yeah,
charged if they said
yeah. No,
anything.
they say that in this
Yeah,
movie. They say you have to work to pay off for living here, otherwise we get you arrested.
right. That's fascinating because this is based on
Yeah,
true
no,
events. This is like
that's
that episode of
wild.
Atlanta,
Right? Yeah, sure.
just like it. This is just like Atlanta.
See, it all ties back together. It's all connected. So they Shaft fights this guy. maybe that's the same guy that kills his dog, or it was just the other asshole, uh, white Italian looking guy
or
who
both.
was shooting it. Maybe I don't know, but the dog gets killed. Very sad. Him and John Shaft and his one single little tribe buddy that he made are burying the dog, and then tribe buddy is shot and killed by one of the white Italian looking motherfuckers in this movie, and Shaft goes shafting. It just takes them all out, does something or other. Somehow he ends up on a boat. I don't remember how does he get there? How does he get, because he escaped the
So
slave trade. I get how I remember all the other
I don't think
captured.
he fully like I don't think he escaped because
Did
the
he
goal
not?
was for him to get on the boat the whole time.
Right.
I think he beat up that guy when he killed his dog and then hopped back on the boat.
Gotcha.
And then he buried his dog, and then they both hopped back
Right.
on the boat. I think is what happened because he got in another fight with another guy who was trying to shoot him.
Well, the one guy that he was burying his dog with got shot and killed. And did he
Right.
go back and finish burying his dog?
Maybe not, but after that point, he goes
Either
and
way,
like
yeah, he
willingly
goes.
gets on the boat.
Yeah, he goes. He kills that one guy that shot his friend, and then I guess he just gets on the boat and shuffles his way back in with the yeah
With the
the rest
crowd,
of
and they
rest
go
of the
underground,
slaves. Yeah.
and this is where the movie picks back up. It's like whoop, we're back up because this is when the Bond villain and his girlfriend are in the car.
Right.
They're driving through the slaves doing slave labor, and
Sure.
she's
Just visibly the most aroused I've ever seen a woman in film in such a casual context.
in ever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that too. Really, yeah.
I mean,
Pretty much, yeah.
it was
But
wildly over
no,
the
I mean,
top.
Shotty straight coming in the car. And this is
Yeah,
this is when we get the great line where he calls her a slut, but he's not slut shaming her, and he says it in such a classy and complimentary way. Like
he legitimately says something along the lines
he's
of
like,
like,
I wish I had your sexuality and
"I wish
your
I
sexual
was as
view on the
horny
world.
as you," is what he said.
Basically, yeah. I
And
wish I
then
could come like you. Is what he
and then
said.
and it seems to be that the implication is he's
This scene confused us for a multitude of reasons because I still don't think there were two white bitches in
now
that
that I'm
car.
thinking about it, what I think it is this is when they determined she was going on the boat. And he was like, "Hey, if you let anything happen to her, I'm going to be very upset."
Right. Okay. I
That's
get
what
it.
I
Yeah.
think. That's what I think was happening. So I think
That makes much more
right.
sense. Yeah. She's the only he's weird, asexual, some sort of sexually depraved, can only get turned on by this
This
woman
one
who's also
specific woman.
sexually depraved and
Well,
also
I don't know
really
that
into
he's
black
really
dudes.
depraved.
I don't know. I mean, I just assume of like, if you need something really specific to get you off, you're probably sexually depraved.
Probably,
Like
probably.
if it's like that specific, like if you're just like asexual, you don't get horny, or you don't like people don't tell you whatever, man, you do you. But that's like a specific.
Or
It's like
maybe he's just in love.
maybe that too. Maybe he's just in love
Could be.
and has a very open and progressive view on relationships and sexuality and monogamy.
Right?
Good for him, I guess. The slavery stuff,
not, not,
not so good,
not as
but
much. Not so
you
much
know.
that one. But no, so he says if anything happens to her, I'm going to be very upset because she's the only woman. What how does he word it? He
I'm
phrases it
pretty sure he
funny.
literally says she's the only woman who can get it up for me.
That's it. Yep, that's the one.
Insane. But then, yeah,
I
a
mean,
woman.
Shaft, man, like
She's she ends up on the boat with all the captured
with
applicants
Jonathan,
and Shaft and Mister Jonathan the First.
with Richard, whose tree was round,
Sure
not
was.
square, not triangle, not
Right.
rectangle, not
Not even
octagon,
not even an oval.
not a plat. No, what's the one? Rhombus, not a rhombus.
Right. Not that.
Not pi. Not square root.
Pentagon.
Not a pentagon for sure. Not an octagon.
Right.
Not a centagon.
Sure. Other gons also.
Would a centagon just be a line? Probably. Not a rhombus. I think I said that one.
Sure did.
It's
So yeah, they're all on the boat. The boat is where everyone is at.
Certainly.
They're all on the boat.
Most certainly. And she stares John Shaft down.
She wants to fuck John Shaft.
Oh, this woman is
she's already super turned on by just any black man she sees, and she also knows that it's John Shaft. He's, presumably this legendary lover. He made a woman, defy her tribal tradition of cutting off her clitoris.
Well, and this is another thing that's very Bond, because a lot of especially in the Roger Moore Bond era, Bond was like a famous super spy,
right?
Which they kind of have done away with that since, and they did away with that. That wasn't a thing before, because he's a spy. Sure. He's not supposed to be famous. Same with a private detective. You're not supposed to know who he is. That's kind of the whole point,
right?
But yeah, that's another thing that's very just Bond with this. It's like he's a celebrity. Everyone knows him. This woman knows how good of a lovemaker he is. Like, everybody knows his face, which really defeats the plot of this whole movie. But people will look at him and be like, "Oh yeah, you're John Shaft." Aren't you John Shaft?
Hey, aren't you John Shaft? The famous private dick from New York City?
But yeah, so she knows, and I've never seen on film a woman this down bad before.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's wild. And Shaft pretty much folds right away.
Oh, instantly. It's so funny, because he's like speaking African, whatever specific language, right. Whatever country they're in.
He says like maybe like a couple African words, and then he'll said like one thing in an accent. And then she's like, I know you're John Shaft, and I want to make love to you. And he's like,
all right, come on, baby.
Your place or mine.
I mean, it's the quickest fold I've ever seen in film, ever to this day.
Yeah, but then weirdly,
I saw it today. Why would I say to this day? I saw it an hour and a half ago. It just happened. But yeah, so they go, and he
weirdly holds out for a while. It's like she's naked for a good long while of this scene.
To be fair, he has just made love minutes ago, maybe hours. Before he got on the boat, how long was he on the boat for? Not that long, presumably.
I mean, I think he was with the tribe for a while after that. Like after they made.
I thought it was like a day at most that they were there.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it was, yeah. Like it's not a while, but more than a few minutes.
Right.
Like,
well, it was a short enough time.
You know how it go. Come on, man. Shit, give me a few minutes. Like.
It was a short enough time ago where I can see him being okay to hold out, I guess is what I'm getting
at. Sure. I'm just saying in comparison to how quickly he folded to her just saying she wanted to make love to him, and then her being actually naked in front of him, and it's funny.
Also, by that point he knew it was a done deal, so he might as well check to see if the room is
right. Yeah. But not that much. He checked the one that she told him about, and then
but he didn't look for another bug. Yeah. And it was under the bed, but it winds up not mattering that it
and
was.
It didn't because
that's just because her boyfriend wanted to listen.
He just wanted to cuck himself, I guess. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was
I think that's part of it for sure.
Fantasy. Yeah, again, you do you. Outside of the slave trade stuff.
Right. But anyway, they go to escape, because that's also a very Bond girl thing. They go to escape on the boat on the side of the ship, and they're like ready to run away together. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they're
I mean, she's down. No, she says he made love to her like no the way a real man should. That's what it was.
Right. The way a man should. And Shaft's down with it, so they're ready to run away together. A man tries to kill Shaft and winds up killing her. She's dead, puts her on a boat, leaves her in the ocean to be eaten by sharks and/or crabs. Right. Probably seagulls would be the most likely.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like they
Does he
eat.
leave her on that boat? I figured
Oh
he
yeah, no, he leaves her on the boat. That comes back later.
does. I mean, I know he says the thing about the boat ride,
Yeah,
but
because well,
I figured
asked
he I
Bond
figured he
villain.
brought I
Bond
figured
villain
he brought
asks. He says, Why did you leave her on that boat?" And he says, "I
No,
promised her a
he
boat
said why
ride."
wasn't her body on the boat?
No, I think he
Meaning
says,
he took No,
"Why
he said no,
was?"
no, dickhead. He said why wasn't her body on the boat?
Uh huh.
Meaning the big boat they were on because he took her on the little boat with him to where I mean he probably did leave it on that boat
No, he didn't
whenever
leave
he
on the little boat. He stayed on the big boat. Shaft stays on the big boat, not the small one.
doesn't he go somewhere for the end of the movie to take place in
He
Paris?
he
Where the end of
goes
the
to
movie takes
no,
place?
he the rest of the people on the boat was headed to Paris. It
Oh,
docks, he gets off. He
okay.
left her
So
on
he
the
just
little
okay,
boat,
so he just put her off on the boat
on the little escape
and just
raft,
left it
and
there?
let her out into the ocean.
Well, he promised her that boat
He
ride, so
promised her a boat ride, yeah.
yeah. Fair enough, I
Yeah,
guess.
she's gonna get eaten by seagulls.
Well, she's dead. So what?
It's true, I guess.
She'd probably be into that. You know, she was a freak.
Right? She's probably like, "Man, that gets me going." I love being eaten by seagulls. She's got an Army
Yeah.
Hammer situation going on. Her and Army Hammer would have been
Hmm,
best friends.
right. So yeah, they get to Paris, I guess.
But
They're
yeah,
all
the big slave ship lands in Paris, and the guy and Tommy Wiseau
right.
shows up.
Right. Tommy Wiseau. Yeah. He's running some sort of like some shitty like halfway home rooming for the slaves where they can,
It's
you know,
it's cheap
I
housing
mean,
so that they can pay them the like
right.
shekels or
Yeah.
shekels, and then they can just be okay to work slave trade. And then this is where kind of the end culmination of the movie happens, and um lots and lots of stuff goes down. I mean, he defeats the bad guy, he punches him, it's a whole thing. But yeah, so we're not at the end yet. There's just it's fascinating because they come in looking for Shaft because Shaft escapes really quickly. He just walks up
I
to
mean,
the
it's
roof and walks
pretty much
away.
with no effort. He just like
Absolutely
goes up the
none.
stairs, gets on the like. Why didn't everyone do that?
Right. That's what I'm literally. Everyone should have gone on the stairs
Like
to
it's not like
leave.
he did some big elaborate like James Bond like
He
parkour where
did
people are
jump
chasing
onto
him
the
because
roof, I guess, but like at the same
I mean,
time,
sort of, but like it wasn't like fucking Casino Royale. He's doing parkour from rooftop while like multiple people are
oh,
chasing him
dude, you
type
remember in
shit.
Casino Royale when James Bond jumps through a wall?
Maybe I
There's
guess
the
I
guy
don't know.
who's
I
doing
mostly just remember
parkour and
that.
he like jumps through this little window and climbs over this thing, and James
I
just
know. I do know
falls
exactly
through
what you're
the wall.
talking about. Yeah.
Oh, it's one of my favorite scenes in any movie ever. Anyway, back to Shaft.
Right. Uh, he shafts. He gets out. Uh, they come in, start whooping on someone because Shaft's not there, and then they basically just like lock them all up. Down in some basement, some dungeon. Eh?
They burn the building down.
Oh no, they do. Yeah. How did the fire start? Who started the fire?
They knock over like a lamp or something.
Right. Yeah. It was just it was in the tussle. Then they all run upstairs
Instead of running out
in
the building.
in the fire. Right. Well, they were
And that's
following
when
Shaft.
he
You know, he
said,
went
"Oh,
upstairs.
they're gonna go out the roof hatch." But no, they don't. They all die.
Do they all die? Is that what happens
They're
there?
like
Is that?
all laid out on the street outside the
Mm,
building.
no, they did. They did. I feel like they didn't all die. I think some of them escaped.
Maybe
They showed a couple of them running out. Maybe.
not many.
Uh.
One of them gets kidnapped. Who's gonna
Right.
betray Jonathan Shafterton? This is where I'm also iffy on the movie.
Are they?
I was
Who
eating.
betrays Jonathan Shaft? Who
Well, he
betrayed?
doesn't betray him, but he's Shaft's friend, and he's like Shaft, and then Shaft. You know what I mean?
Well, the guy they tortured.
Yeah.
What you talking about? Well, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Didn't
if
really
you give
betray
something
him
up
that
in
much.
torture, that's betrayal. I would never give you up to torture.
I'm willing to bet you would, under absolutely no pressure. They wouldn't even need to imply that they're gonna torture you. You'd fold instantly.
No, the only torture I think I would give in on, because I'm no snitch. You know what I mean? The only
Yeah, for
torture
sure.
I'd give in on is that where they like stick little like toothpicks in your fingernails.
Yeah.
I think
No,
I'd fold over that one.
I'd probably give in on most, I mean it depends. Like,
I'd be okay being waterboarded, I think.
yeah, maybe. I mean I'd rather not, but
I mean, it happens, and it's our, you know what I mean? Like,
should it?
I'm probably gonna die via drowning anyway, so I might as well let it happen in an
Really?
interrogation room.
I think probably in this situation, I'd I'd give up my boy because I think my boy could handle it. If my boy's John Shaft,
Right? That's true.
like,
Yeah.
and I think John Shaft wouldn't want me to get tortured to
I don't
protect
think
him
you
also.
could handle it though. So if it were me, I
Right.
wouldn't rat
Yeah.
you out
Cool.
unless
I
they're
appreciate
sticking
that.
toothpicks in my fingernails.
Right, right. In which
And
case I understand.
right.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you understanding. I mean, that just looks, the second the toothpick comes out of the thing, I'm like, all right, he did it. He killed her.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, that's just me.
Right. So how do we get to the
How
end of
does
this
this movie
movie?
end?
I know I thing is I know how it ends. I don't remember how we got to that point. It ends I forgot about the fire straight up.
I
I
was
thought there
ordering a
was some
gyro.
right. Um there's some dungeon. Some like it's like a I mean it's not really a dungeon, it just looks like a jail
Uh-huh.
cell. Maybe it is meant to be an actual jail because they do talk about that, throwing them in jail if they don't pay. I don't know.
Right. Tommy Wiseau
If they
says
try and
that.
escape, yeah. John Shaft, he threatens that one French detective guy. He
Oh,
yells
yeah,
some
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
at him.
So the French
That
detective
was
comes up and
after the
he says, the law will take care of this. And Shaft freaks out.
right.
He's like, the law's
Yeah,
not
no,
going to take care of this.
he spits
You
some
guys are
shit.
just as racist as they are back in America. You're letting this happen. You're making too much money off of this. He storms away and then he drives. Oh, he grabs the Tommy Wiseau because Tommy Wiseau was
Right.
like in charge, and he's like, "Where did you get the
Yeah,
slaves
he
from?"
slams him up against the shit. Yeah,
Right,
knocks
and
his head
so
off.
so he finds out where home base is, and that's how he
Right.
gets there.
And that's where they're all being kept in the jail
Right,
cells.
right.
One of them takes one of the bars off somehow and stabs the guard.
Yeah, it's
They throw it like a
awesome.
spear. It's sick. Yeah, and then they take the keys out and break out, and this is all happening while John is he's fighting his way down.
Well, John is
Um,
Shaft.
John is shafting his way down, uh, to get to that basement point. He ends up on a stairwell with the main Bond villain right around the corner. They both have little guns. They're waiting for one to come around the corner. It's it's a very cool and fun. Like it's a cool, smart, funny Shaft thing to do. Where he's
Ah,
got his one like automatic whatever sort of European assault rifle he's rocking with at this point, and he takes that and he throws that, and then he pulls out his little Mauser that he was also rocking the whole movie,
yeah, that's a good
and he
one.
and he after throwing that just quickly rounds the corner and shoots him. But by that point, all the freed slaves had already come up the stairs and like mobbed up behind him and grabbed him, and he like it was pointless. He didn't even hit him. It didn't. They took him outside. They drowned him in a fountain, and then
They
sort of just ends.
they gooned him.
I, I mean, I guess, yeah. That one, I'll give you that one.
It's like,
Sure.
oh, they gooned him, and then the movie
Yeah.
it
It's
Shaft
yeah.
gets
It
the
ends on a
girl,
shot of an airplane. He gets on the
which is
airplane.
such a Bond. That's a Bond ending. This movie's a
Yeah,
Bond movie.
gets on an airplane. The one surviving Bond girl sits next to him with her fully intact clitoris, and then roll credits. you know.
Which is, I mean, that's how it
Uh,
happens.
yeah, yeah.
Credits
That's
roll, man.
Shaft in Africa.
Africa.
Shafrica. Yeah.
We share one mind.
Dude, what is with my slow internet connection right now?
I
I'm
don't
telling
know.
you,
It's
it's
all right.
fine.
Let's just go
I've
ahead
I
and
done diagnosed this hoe like 3 times. You're connected to the internet. We didn't find any problems with your network.
let's just wrap it up. Let's just wrap
Fine.
it
I
up.
mean, yeah.
Let's just wrap it up.
Hey, call this hoe a mummy. Call this ep a mummy because I'm gonna wrap it up. All right, let's get it.
This episode built like a present because I'm gonna wrap it up. Daniel built like one of the Sprouse twins in the first season of The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
not even the first season of Sweet Life on Deck.
Nah, bro. The first season of Zach and Cody, because you got them
Crazy,
bangs right
cold.
now, bro.
Oh no, that's true. Yeah, I do got them
Anyway,
bangs.
I loved this.
Yeah,
Far
fantastic.
preferred this one to the first one.
Yeah, probably. I think I'm
The
probably
first
more
one's
likely to
fun.
rewatch the first one
First one's
though.
better.
Yeah,
This one's way more fun. This movie's a banger.
It goes crazy.
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, Shaft in Africa.
It holds up better. It's better paced, except for the middle, which is a little bit of a
It's
slog.
paced about the same.
I think it's the stuff that's quick and pow pow is more interesting.
Yeah,
There's not some of the worst ADR I've ever heard in my life in this movie.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a huge fan. I really like Shafrica.
Yeah. This episode made possible by Jack Daniel's Down Home Punch. Not sponsored by, but man, I wouldn't have gotten through it if not for this. Oh shit!
I'm excited for next week. Next week we're jumping to Shaft 2000.
Yeah,
Shaft
the
Millennium
only
Edition.
Shaft movie I haven't seen, Shaft Millennium, with Sam L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson is in it. He's the new
son
Shaft.
of Richard Roundtree.
He's the son of John Shaft. His name is
nephew
in this one. Yeah, he's the nephew of John Shaft. His name is John Shaft.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna be watching that next week. It's gonna be great. We will see you then, I guess, on the next episode of Semi Pro.
And thanks for watching. Hey, ring that bell and hit the likes. Both of them, up and down.